Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine, and it's time for a bit of fall. How's about checking out a layout that I'm going to put together using our Grateful Harvest Autumn collection this year? And I'm going to be adding some of our inks and brushes to the layout because I want to show you how to use those. I really love the creative memories that have started to add these, and I want to also show you a few storage options as well, because that's one thing that we don't quite have yet, and I found a really great one especially for storing the brushes and the inks. So come along with me, let's put together a fabulous fall layout and use some inks and brushes and get a little dirty at the same time. For this layout, you can see my desk looks a little bit different than it normally does because I brought in my Mimento ink teardrops. I found this really cool holder on Amazon to hold them in. It comes with several trays, and then you can get a holder to actually slide your trays into. I don't have the holder yet, but I have a feeling that is going to be my next order because this thing is awesome. I love that it keeps my inks in place. They're not flying all over my desk, and I know exactly which color I'm going to get ready to use. I also found this really neat turning brush holder that'll let them dry in the brush holder as well. I will link that in the description box with this video as well. I'm super excited to show you all how to work with the inks and brushes that Creative Memories has, and then talk a little bit more about a couple other options coming up. We're also going to be using our corner rounder, and I just wanted to show you what inspired this layout for me. So I wound up adding in this piece of paper afterwards. This is one of our designer sheets. I only have one of them. I did cut 6 4x6 mats from this sheet of paper and hit it with the corner rounder so we have all of our corners rounded, because my inspiration for this entire layout, actually including the inks, was this wreath I found in our sticker pack. We're probably not going to use this little leaf sticker in the middle, but we are going to use the wreath on our page. And then I also loved how it went with our pumpkin and mum laser cut border. This one, it's not double-sided, so you just have one color palette to pick from, but I just thought, the wreath has these little wheat stalks in it, and so does our border, along with the mums that we're going to bring in from our. So we have the mums and pumpkins in our laser cut border, but we also have a mum on our 5x5 stencil that's the falling leaves and flowers. And you can see I've already taped up my stencil with some washi tape. You can also use painter's tape or other products that are available that you might have. I mean, you can even use a Post-it note if you want. It just so happened I had washi tape on my desk. So it gives you a use for your washi tape, and I'll link that in my description box if you all are in need. The other thing I wanted to talk about with our stencils, because we have a couple of these little 5x5 stencils now, and of course mine is covered by washi tape a little bit, but there's a little hole punched in the one corner of my stencil here. And those of us who are advisors actually had the opportunity to purchase a starry one earlier in the year, and it also had the little corner punch, and we have a ring that we can actually add all of our stencils to keep them stored together. This is kind of like how I store my custom cutting system as well, which you may have also seen in my Halloween bat layout as well. So I will link that in the description box as well. It won't be a blue one that matches the stencil with the Creative Memories logo on it, but it will have a nice ring that you can use to add more stencils onto, because you're going to want this stencil once you understand how to work with it. We are going to be using our Stardust white cardstock as the base on both sides of our layout. Now, if you haven't seen this one yet, hang on, let me adjust. So this is one of those where, at least now I have adjustable lights. I hope you can see the white paper does have some little like speckles in it, as if we've taken some of our paints and kind of just spattered a little bit through our page. And the color palette that's speckled in here just works with what we're going to be doing. So take a look at the Stardust White cardstock. I will link it. We'll just have a whole festival of links in the description box with this video, but I think it's going to be worth it. I think you all are going to appreciate having some shortcuts to find what I am using to put this layout together. I'm going to set aside my cardstock bases. And as you can see, I've pulled out my 13 by 13 non-stick craft mat from Creative Memories. This mat has a sticky side that has our Creative Memories logo on it, and then it has a not so sticky side, which is what we are going to be working on for our project. I have had my mat rolled up in my box, so I'm actually just going to take a little bit of my washi tape and get my corners placed down here. We are just want to make sure that everything is laying nice and flat for when we get ready to go ahead and start doing our inks here. I also do have a spray bottle of water for when we get into our inking as well. So here we go. I am going to bring in my left side of the page, and on this page we are going to add a mum. One of our chrysanthemums is actually the smallest one, is what I have highlighted here. And I just kind of took, I don't know if I should show you all this, but I will talk a little more about using our stencils with pens in a bit, but I'm going to show you my little thing that I used to plot out. So this is kind of where we're headed. I used one of my index sheets to go ahead and plot out where I wanted to make sure I inked, and just to check and make sure which colors I wanted to use for them, because it just, you know, one of those things where it's nice to have a plan, especially when you're working with the cardstock and the inks. So make sure you know where you're going with them. I'm going to put just a little bit over here. So we're working in this top right corner. I am going to make my mom yellow. And then we are going to add a little bit of one of our orange pens to it. So I'm just going to blot out a little bit of my ink onto my mat here. So I have some ready to go. I think this is the one that didn't have its own brush head, or that matched from Creative Memories. You can also get brushes on Amazon or other places as well. I'm going to add just a touch. Do I want it dark or not as dark? Let's see here if I can get my, helps when you turn it on. We're going to add just a little gentle dribble of water to our yellow here. And it's handy to have both a paper towel and wet wipes when you're doing the inks, because these can get a little bit messy. So we're going to go ahead and just rub our brush. You can see where I have a lot more towards the center of my brush here. So I'm going to keep going, keep going, keep going, and try to really get it loaded up. I may need to get just a little bit more of my ink on here. So leave your little drop open, but it's nice that I knew my drop wasn't going anywhere. I'm going to add just a little touch more, because I may want it just a little bit darker. Now let's give it a try. We're just going to go ahead and rub, rub, rub. Yep, there we go. There comes our mum. And you can see my center is really darker on that, and the outside is lighter, and I am super happy with that, because we are also going to be adding some orange highlights later, but I really didn't want it to be just flat in one color, if you will. So I'm going to put my brush back in my little holder. I'm not putting my cap on yet, because we are going to be doing more with the yellow. Our yellow is called Dandelion. So we are going to go ahead and pick this up. I'm sticking a little bit because of my washi tape. That's okay. And then we are also going to add we're going to add a wheat flour as well. And I actually wanted my wheat going this direction. So we're going to see how this works out for me. Coming in next to my mom that we just inked. You don't really have to let it super dry. So I want to get a little more water on my brush. I'm going to run it back through this yellow because I want my wheat to be maybe a little bit darker. So wait, how's about I actually you can even take your ink directly onto the stencil and run it through, but I like doing the brush. So we're just going to put a little more down, get a little more on. It's okay. You can push down. Your brush heads do have a little bit of flexibility to them. I don't know if you've noticed that, but they do. So you can see the brush head moves when I move it. And I am going to just go ahead and get this rolling here. I do want this to be a little bit darker, and we'll see if we wind up adding any of our pens to this as well. It's okay. Yep, I feel like I'm in the space well. My tape is helping me out here, thankfully. So that one is definitely darker and brighter next to our little bit of a lighter mum. But like I said, we're going to be adding some orange to our mum coming up. Okay. So that's our top right. I am going to see how many hands I have here. Put this back on here, put this back in here so I know where to find it. I know I have my wet spot here, but I'm going to turn my page because I want to get this bottom corner. And I'll put my lids right in there so I don't lose that either. And I want the large leaf. Well, no, I've got to wait because I need to get my wheat going again down the other side of my page. I'm going to do the leaves last. I knew I wanted to do the mum. I also am going to do something with the leaves and the acorn. But let's go ahead and set this page aside. We're going to grab in our other sheet of cardstock, and I am going to run some more of our wheat down our page. Just want to make sure which direction I want to run it first. And I'm going to give it maybe about, an inch from the top of the page here. Let's see here. Yep. Let's go ahead and give it about an inch from the top of our page, which is going to be right around there. And where's the edge of that coming in from? Okay. So I think I want these to be kind of dark as well. So we're going to go ahead and just run our brush again, and we'll see how dark we can get this one to come out next. And we're going to just continue inking through our page here. I need more. And that just moved, so we're going to leave that one as it is, but I'm going to put a little bit more on my mat for my next one because my stencil moved. So I'm just going to leave that one. I like how that looks. We're going to go about an inch from the bottom of the page as well. I think just maybe a little bit symmetrical here. And we'll see how well this lines up close to the edge of the page. Again, we kind of want to get it angled very similarly to what we did up here. So I'm looking at this leaf here in particular. And grabbing that extra little bit of ink again. More on my brush. More going on my page here. Yep, that definitely wound up being a bit darker. And then just rub it around until you get the look that you want. I definitely wanted that one a little bit darker. That's okay. Because it's also going to be closer to our pumpkins, which I probably should have double checked that, but that's okay. Yep. So the stem is kind of coming up, so it looks like it's an extension of this here. And then we'll have our third one, I think, maybe coming down the opposite direction. We want it to be spaced kind of evenly. Where's the bottom of my stem is here. Bring that over. We want to make sure the leaf stays on the page. And then maybe we'll have, I'm just going to use whatever ink. I'm going to just dab a little more, but I want it to kind of be in between. So this one's lighter, this one has darker spots, and we'll see how this one comes out maybe in between the two. Again, my washi tape is helping me out for sure because I can tell I'm kind of going all over. So this one wound up a little bit darker going into that lighter, which is actually just about perfect because I've got the dark here, I've got the dark here going into the light, and the lighter's going here towards the top. So I like it. That is done. I think that was the only inking. Yeah, that was the only inking on this side of the page. So that's going to be the right side of our right page. I'm going to bring back in my left page. Let me see what else we're doing with the yellow, or if we're going to do anything else yellow. Check my notes. Yes, we are going to have at least one yellow coming in. So let me just put my brush down there. I'm going to move my washi tape so that way it covers up the wheat stalk now because we want leaves. Oops, sorry about that. And it's nice that you can just pick it up and reuse it here, covering up this mum over here. And I probably should cover up this little shutter flower that we have as well. Grab another little piece of washi tape. It's nice to get a little bit of use from my washi tape. I don't use it all that much, so there we go. Go ahead and fold that over, fold that over. Okay, so the leaf, that's going to be golden. So I have my larger leaf that's going to come in here. About to there. I've got the mid-sized leaf coming in there. And then I've got my other leaf that's going to start about over here. Okay. And I probably need to cover up my other leaves too, don't I? Because I just want to get the one. All right. Give me just a moment here. I knew we needed so much. I guess I could have moved around some of my other tape too, but that's okay because I'm going to wind up moving this to do the other leaves and my acorn as well. So it's just going to be what it's going to be. And I probably want this one a little more mid-range in my yellow. So that way we'll have a little bit more, kind of like our chrysanthemum, that it's a little bit lighter. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water. I'm not actually adding any more ink to my mat here. I'm just watering down what's on my brush already. And that is going to be this leaf here. So you can see this one's coming in a little bit lighter. I want it just a little bit darker. Okay. I kind of want it with some of those darker tones in between. So let me grab my ink back out. We're going to add just another little sploosh here. I only patted it once. I'm just going to try to grab it right in the middle of my brush so I can kind of highlight through just a little bit in the middle here. Just lightly touching that center, going down through the center of it more so than you can see I have a little darker area exactly where I wanted it. Okay. I think we're done with the dandelion. Yes, we are. Okay. Let me, I didn't double check my notes properly, did I? Okay, well, that's all right. We're going to go dark brown in the middle then. So we are going to use this smaller leaf. I think this is the right one. Let me check the back here. Nope, we're going to use the other one, the one I covered up over here. So let me move some of this tape here. I'm going to cover up the one we just did. Going this opposite angle just a little bit, and then I need to put this piece of tape over here because we're taking this middle, I don't know, it's probably supposed to be a maple leaf, I'm guessing. And this one is going to come next to our other one here. Now remember, this is the bottom of our page, and I want to use my darker brown for this. I'm going to put a little bit of water a little bit higher on my mat. Oh, I probably should have added my ink first, huh? So let's just put the dark brown up a little bit higher up here. Ooh, you can definitely see that. Or at least I hope you can see that. It's a little hard, I know, sometimes with the lights, but all right, I'm gonna grab my brown lid here, put that in there. I'm gonna add a little bit of water first because I don't want it to be super, super dark. But then I'm just gonna run my brush through this darker brown here, grab it as much as I can for my brush, and here we go. And so one of the things I was thinking with some of these smaller stencils is we might want to get a more delicate brush because some of these brush heads are very large for what some of these, the size of these stencils are. And so I wanted to give you all a link for a couple of smaller brushes that I'm getting ready to try out. I actually haven't had a chance to purchase those yet either, but I am going to, and I want to give them a try. So if any of you would like to see me working with the smaller brushes, please leave me a comment. I was thinking about maybe doing a fun Thanksgiving card. That might be nice with this Grateful Harvest collection. All right, this is interesting because I think some of my orange marker I was using earlier bled a little bit into the brown leaf, which I am totally okay with because I was worried about it being a little too dark on my page, and now it really is not. So how's about that for a lucky accident, maybe? And finally, we're going to go with our, so that was Rich Cocoa is the color that I used there. And for this third one, we're going to have coming from over here. So we're going to use the Rich Cocoa again on our acorn. But first we're going to use our potter's clay for our third leaf here because I wanted to have different colors, but I actually am going to go really close to where we had our yellow because I almost want to lighten this one just a little bit as well. So like I said, I'm okay. I got that little bit of orange into the brown. I am going to be okay getting a little bit of yellow into my potter's clay here, which is a lighter brown basically. So I'm going to grab a little bit of water here, push this down, rub, 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 and then I'm going to blend in just a little bit of that. Whatever yellow is left on my mat is going to get blended with the potter's clay. Grab a little bit of that water. So just mixing it up a bit here. And then push it on to the page here. I'm getting my edges are going in a little darker, which I'm loving. And there we go. So I like some of the just the gentle shading you can get just by using these brushes. Okay. So that's our third leaf there. Oops, I got just a little, must have gotten a little crazy with that one close to the edge. But you know what? It's okay. We're going to have some other things going on. And then I did want an acorn also coming down with this here. Let's see if I can do this without moving the, and this is exactly where I was thinking that having that more smaller, more delicate brush would be to our advantage. So I'm going to add just a little bit of water to our area of our darker brown. Let's see if I can actually get our acorn in with just a little bit of shading. It's not going to be easy. Nope, I didn't get enough of the dark brown. And if we can just stamp it on using our actual pod. Oh, maybe a little bit. That's okay. Let's just go ahead and see if we can now blend what came off of the actual stencil. Kind of makes our acorn look a little dirty. So maybe I need to just bring this back in and get this other end just a little bit more here. Just using the tip of the pod and get that darkened up, and we'll touch it up a little bit with our pens as well. Okay, so the acorn was definitely, I think, the hardest one of the day. Here we go. But you can see we even got our little stem to come up, so that's nice too. I'm gonna go ahead and take a moment. I'm going to put my brushes in my drying rack. I will clean those later with just water. I'm going to take my washi tape off of here and I'm going to wipe everything down with a baby wipe just to get it cleaned up. Cleanup is super easy and quick with both our mat and our template here. Okay, bring in my rough lips here real quick. Wipe it down on the mat. Flip it over. The other side here. Dry it real quick. And I just wanted to show you all real quick before I put my brush caddy to the side. I actually was able to fit my template in the center to dry. And I just have my little covers in this bottom part, which of course, because I don't have my whole caddy filled yet, eventually I probably will maybe put my covers up here behind while I'm waiting for my actual brushes that I use to dry. But I've gone ahead and I've rinsed my brushes and I just have them here on my caddy and can set it aside so they can dry. Makes it nice to have them out of the way a little bit. Let's bring in our base pages again. Here we go. So pretty. I just love how the inking turned out. My little acorn looks really dark, but that's okay. Some of those acorns do get kind of dark, don't they? And we are going to go ahead and start by adding in our border. Let me find my... Actually, we are going to... I guess we're going to put this in the bottom right, and then I'm going to set it aside because usually I always do the left side first, don't I? This got so excited doing my inks, and the thought that I'm going to be pulling in some markers today is just so fun to do something a little bit different than just standard scrapbooking, I guess. So happy I could share this project with all of you. All right, so the border is just going across the bottom of our right page. And actually, it's interesting. My pumpkin, I'm going to show you all, matches exactly with where I inked my little wheat stalk here. So you can see that just matches up perfectly. And I am going to go ahead and bring in my mats for the left side of my page. Again, like I said, our wreath is going to go on this side. I am bringing in 3 of my 4x6 mats for this page here. They are going to go this way. And you know what, I actually may add, I don't usually decorate the page first, but because we have our inked parts already done, and I have a really large sticker that's going to be going across the top along with our wreath, I think I may go ahead and just get some of these in here and know that I'll have nice spacing for my photos as well. We're also going to add one of our wooden wagons down here also. So that's going to help too. Okay. Grab my border mat, grab my repositionable tape. Let's put our little wagon down first. This is from our Hot Fudge cardstock. And I just thought it looked like we could bring in some of these leaves and acorns and what have you on our wagon for our wreath. We're going to put this one on straight on the page, and then we're going to pop up our fall, I think. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, and it does have a secondary. But it is kind of funky with the extra white around that one. But our wreath is going to go up here in this left corner. I'm going to pop up our fall. I'm going to wonder if my foam tape will fit under that. Let's check it, because that would be a lot easier than dealing with a bunch of foam squares. Let's see here. And yes, if you don't have any foam tape left from Creative Memories, I will link it in the description box for you as well. Like I said, this I'm not usually super link heavy in my description boxes, but this one, I think we're going to be a little bit more link heavy, so I hope you all will check it out. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does help me out a little bit as well, especially with the current shutdown that's happening with the government. I'm going to cut my foam tape in half just using my micro tip scissors. There we go. This way I can run this through the entire length of our F. I'm going to grab this extra little bit that I have cut too long. Take that off of there. How's what we run this little piece through the middle of our A. And then I'm going to cut off another part because we know it's going to be too long for our L, but we should be able to add that there. Add this other piece that we just cut off going across here. There we go. Hopefully my scissors weren't too much in the way there for you all. Well, maybe if I measure a little bit better, we'll go a little bit shorter here. Again, just cut your foam tape in half. Running my scissors just straight through the middle here. And I know I've mentioned it before, I love these things. So did you see that we have a new color of our micro tip scissors that just came out as well? I actually may need to get a new pair because mine, I think, is already 3 or 4 years old at this point, but still don't have anything sticking to it. It's always sticking to me, but not to the scissors, that's for sure. Here we go. My paper got caught up a little bit, so I'm just going to go ahead and place that right on my A. I need to do one more. And it's interesting because I'm going to need another half, but then a couple of smaller pieces. So let's do this. That might be a little bit too long also. I'm going to just go ahead and cut it down right away. I'm going to add this to the end of the L over here. And then I'll use whatever comes off this other half to fill in my F. There we go. Just like the idea of having this fall really popped up nicely. I can get it to not stick to me so much. And then I'll just keep this piece on the side here for another pop-up later. Go ahead and pull the backs off of these. And we'll get these placed on our layout, and then we'll get our mat stuck down, and then I will talk a little bit about what we're gonna, well, I think maybe we'll pull out the pens at the end. How's about that? Okay, A likes me. So we are going to, let me scoot these down just a hair because I don't want to be too distracted here. Our F. And let's see how this looks. Let's face this over here, and then our other L and our A. There we go. Because you kind of want to make sure you have some even spacing, but I really love how that foam tape just brought it all up. I'm going to show you all real quick. You can see that it's not sagging anywhere throughout the letters. It looks really, really kind of cool on the page. It doesn't have any of those little dips sometimes you see with foam squares. Get my tape runner going here. My photo mat's in place. And I'm really liking this speckled paper too. This is my first time using it. The Stardust is what it's called, but it does just have this natural speckling that's really striking through the page. Like I said, it just really seems to fit my theme here of all the falling leaves and what have you. scooch this just a little bit to the right. So I'm going to move this one just a hair to the right. So that way my sight line for both of my photos is going to be through this right edge here. It's about 3/4 of an inch from the right side of the page. Here we go. And we've got about a 1/2 inch on the left side there and about 1 inch in between. So I guess I could have moved that one in and kept just 3/4 inch spacing throughout, but that's okay. That's not the way it worked. So I am going to be adding some of these pieces as well. If you all saw my intro for our leaf and acorn border maker cartridge, you saw that these pieces come out from that border maker cartridge. And I just thought, you know what? How cool would that look on this page with all of our inking and our coloring through here? I don't know if I want to do red. Maybe red might be nice there. With our next to our other, I guess I could have moved my L over, but I'm not going to do it right now because it's already stuck down. So I feel like let's just maybe put 2 here. Or should we put 3? Because what is it? They say you're supposed to do these things in 3s. So maybe we'll put the canary behind and then put these other 2 more in the front. How's about that? And create a little mini cluster of punch confetti, if you will. But it's just these really cool sticks that come out from that border maker cartridge, and it just, I think it's going to add an interesting pop. So I used our pumpkin and our cranberry cardstock. It's not red, it's the darker one. I believe it's cranberry. There we go. So adding that there, and like I said, we're going to get the markers at the end. So for now, I'm going to leave this as it is. Here is the left side of our page so far. Not quite done yet, but so far. Bringing in the right side of my page. Let's get the mats down first on this side. All right, here we go. And this one is going up here, and then we're going to have 2 side by side through the bottom. So let's go ahead and do those 2 first. And we will try for our 3/4 of an inch spacing on this side a little bit better. And I'm not going to push them down all the way just yet because I want to make sure my upper one is going to fit nicely as well with a nice spacing. Well, I'll follow this right edge a little bit more. So that is actually about 1/8 of an inch from the top of the page, and it looks like we're going to have almost 1/8 of an inch in between as well. So I'm going to bring this down just a hair bit more so I can get just a little more space at the top of the page because I want just a little more white space showing up there. Closer to the 1/4 inch, that's going to follow that line. This one needs to come down and over just a little bit more too now. Bringing it in. Okay. So this is the right side of the page. Seems a lot more simpler, but I really thought that this white space here up in this top part here could be used for journaling. I just really think that it's part of scrapbooking is to do your journaling and have space for that journaling. So that's what I usually try to include on most of my pages. So that is that. All right. I don't know if I want to do different colors, if I want to do another yellow, if I want to put the orange. I don't want yellow. And I didn't think I really liked the red on this side as much, so I may just do 3 orange coming through here. Again, just to add that little extra pop of color through here also. But it also brings in the ones we added on the other side as well. So let's just put these 3 pumpkin ones down. And then we're going to get busy with our pens here. Using my repositionable tape real quick. go. I brought in 2 pens from our regular pen line, our brown and our orange. And then I also have pulled 3 pens from our rainbow dot pen roll here that comes with this really wonderful roll that you can keep all your pens together in. So we have a yellow, a lighter orange, and then I did pull green as well, but I don't think we're going to use that because we have a lot of green just in our mats. But I'm going to go ahead and place these down as well. I'm going to bring in the right side of my page, and I'm going to show you the left side, or this, I'm going to bring in the left side, and I'm going to show you this right side real quick, because I don't think I held it up. So I'm bringing in my left side of my page again, and here is where we're at so far. Now we're just going to go ahead and highlight a little bit of what we have on our page. I knew for sure I wanted to add some of this lighter orange to my mom. I think I said that even when I was inking it, because I just really thought it needed just a little bit of extra. I'm just going to add a few dots here and maybe just a few light, oh, maybe not. Okay, well, there we go. We're just going to add a few petals then, here and there throughout, which are going to be orange. It's not looking to highlight so much. It's definitely darker than what we had in our inks. So I'm just going to go ahead, since I started it, I'm adding kind of randomly here, just to make it look a little bit more like it's intentional, which maybe it kind of is, maybe it kind of isn't, but you need to get a little bit more through here. You can kind of see the spacing of where these petals are. Some of them, like I said, are very light, so I just wanted to follow through, but this is a good lesson. At least now I know. Why did I have to start with the mum? Because I knew I wanted to add orange. Well, that's okay, because you know why? There's orange in our border sticker mum as well. And it kind of looks like it almost is a little bit orange and yellow down here. So it's almost like they have darker centers and that they're a little bit lighter on the outside. Oops, I must have not pushed that one down so far. So I'm just kind of trying to bring in a little bit of extra for that. Maybe we can add a little veining and use the lighter end of my orange here through our, that actually looks great. This is our potter's clay that we did on this side. Adding some veining to our leaf. And I will hold this up to the camera for you all in just a moment. Now we're going to try the yellow and see what we get. We're going to go try to do a little veining on this leaf with this one. Coming through here. Yeah, this is actually working out nicely for me. Sometimes I get these ideas and then I'm not sure how it's all going to hash out when I start to do some of it. I'm wondering, I don't know if I can highlight any of this or not. This color is actually almost exactly the same color as what we have up here. So I would have to almost add orange to it to make it look like, I mean, I could add a few little veins through here to highlight it a little bit, but it really is almost exact. And this one is just almost a little bit darker. So if I just run a couple of veins through here, I don't think we're going to be able to see any of that. You can see it on the actual other one because it's lighter. This one's showing a little bit more. But I'm just going to run these through real quick. And here we go, one last one. Just running it through the center of our leaves. Just, you know, we know it's there. Sometimes that extra little detail can make a difference. Somebody might notice it, somebody might not, but it adds a little extra definition to our page. And now I'm going to grab the brown. Let's see how this goes. Get this up. And because this leaf needs a little bit of help over here, we're going to try adding some veins to this one too. Yep, this is definitely darker. Okay, hopefully I've done my leaves some justice here. And then my little acorn, I will just highlight maybe one side of it here, just to give it that little extra oomph and definition here. I'm going to go around this whole part at the bottom. I wanted to just highlight the top just a little bit, but I think I'm going to go around this entire middle and bottom section. There we go. Just to help it pop a little bit more, because we do have a little bit of color run from this cocoa. Was it cocoa? No, the potter's clay leaf through our page, but honestly, having some of the extra speckles almost makes it look like it was deliberate as well. Okay, I don't think I'm going to do too much else to this page. What do y'all think? Was it too much? Is it just right? Maybe I wouldn't have done so much to the mom. But since I started, I did want to just finish that as well. Here is where my leaf veining came in. Like I said, we used the lighter orange on this one and the yellow here, but definitely that brown definitely pops on both of those, including the acorn going around and highlighting that. And then having our little wheat branches with our stems coming through this right side as well. And of course, just coming up with our border. So there we go. That is our Grateful Harvest layout. I know it was a little bit more of a process than what I usually do, but I think it was worth it. I think it's a beautiful page, and I know that my photos are definitely going to shine when I go to put them on the page. I hope you all will join me again sometime. Please hit the subscribe button if you aren't already a subscriber. I will see you all next time.